Can you hear me? Give me a shout if you can hear. So this is another new old computer live stream. Today's subject is going to be this thing here out on the bench. And to give a quick recap, what if any of you watched my my last live stream, I got a bunch of boxes of old vintage tech from a local friend. And in one of the boxes, I'll grab the box, it's over here. Inside of this box of various expansion cards was this thing right here, which at the time I thought was a video adapter for Macintosh. So if somebody who was more knowledgeable than me or us in the stream at the time knew what this was from sight, then you may have been screaming at the screen and saying, "Hey, this is not a video adapter. This is in fact a 486 PC on a card." And that's of course very easy to find out with these Apple products, because they all have unique ID numbers. This one's right here, 820-0578A. So let's see if I can get the studio light just right, like that maybe. And yeah, so this turns out to be, wouldn't say rare, but I think they're not super common either. I believe it's called the Houdini 2, the colloquial term, the code name for these. The Houdini 1, I believe, was for the late Quadras, I think the 610 or the 650, for 68040 Macs, and this is for the very early Power Macs, so the Power Mac 6100 and 61XX series of Macs, Power Macs. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised to know that there was something that was fairly desirable and rare in the lot of random stuff. And it did inspire me to actually go out and buy a Mac Performa 6116 CD, which is a fairly common machine, not super desirable. It has a very weird video connector that nobody likes. But yeah, I just sourced all the parts needed to do this. And I haven't yet tried to put everything together and see if this will work. So I thought it'd be fun to do that live on stream, to see together whether this contraption actually will work. And let's see if I can switch over to the bench for a bit here, just so we can take a closer look. Let me see if I can get a little bit better view. And this is the last acquisition here, which was a breakout adapter board. It's basically just a pass-through from the DOS card to 3 breakouts that I will talk about soon. Now I believe you can build these yourself. This is just, they're only passive circuitry on this, so you can easily make this yourself if you feel so inclined. However, I was a little bit busy and I have other projects to do, so I didn't want to take on another build right now. So I got this off eBay. It seems pretty well made. Plus it has these weird dense, oh, not that. This one. So this is a dense DSUB. What is it? How many pins? 36 or something? Goes into this dense DSUB here in the back. So one of the reasons I thought this was a video card is that it's not too dissimilar from a VGA dense DSUB VGA. It has more pins, right? But it's the same general layout. 3 rows. So let's just inspect this card for a little bit. I have taken it apart into its pieces and inspected everything. Let's just for fun, let's take off this little daughter board so we can see what's going on here. So this board was found in a box of parts, sort of scrap parts, effectively. So it's been exposed to the elements quite a bit. I have cleaned it up quite nicely now, but there was a ton of moisture, signs of moisture exposure, especially around this connector, and a lot of whatchamacallit, mineral residue, white mineral residue that you usually get from water damage, basically. Yeah, I cleaned all that up, but there's always a risk that there's been some corrosion somewhere that's hidden from view. I didn't see any after I cleaned off all the goo, but you never know. So it's just for fun. Let's take this daughter board off for a bit and have a look at the board. So you know, it has a 486 CPU here. It has a PC chipsets basically, and a bunch of glue logic. And yeah, it's just a 486 on the board. I believe this is probably RAM sitting over here. And this is the oh no, it's not RAM. Yeah, I know. Sorry, no. This board doesn't have onboard RAM. It's using RAM from the mother host Macintosh, or RAM installed in this SIM socket. So I believe this is the bus logic. So some kind of transceivers, I believe, bus transceivers. And this is a PDS connector, so this goes into the processor direct slot, PDS slot, on the Power Mac. And this is has an Apple sticker, this little IC here. I wonder if that's a ROM or something. And yeah, it has a SIM socket. What is it, 72 pin? So I have some RAM sitting around here. Some RAM, 2 16 megabyte SIMs that I will try out. And I was asking around on the Discord server earlier, a couple days ago, asking about this weird SIM slot. You see that it's at an angle, right? So at first I thought it was damaged, right? That it had suffered some collision damage. But that's not the case. It's deliberately installed at an angle from the factory in order to fit into the case and allow for PCI cards to be installed and stuff like that, I think. So yeah, it's a weird but expected thing. And this daughter board here has a creative branding. This is a SB16 Vibra. So integrated SB16 card. Just a big IC with all the Sound Blaster logic, and then a bunch of passives and 2 ICs in the back. So kind of neat. I think the Houdini one did not have the Sound Blaster, so it had no audio capabilities. So that was one of the improvements with the Houdini 2. And I guess another notable thing is this old thing here. You may recognize the type of cable here. This is, I believe, the CD audio pass-through. So yeah, you just daisy chain this with the CD audio lead that comes from the CD-ROM drive, so you can get awesome mid-90s multimedia sound in your PC in a Mac. And I think actually, yeah, I'm just gonna add my face. Oops, not that one. There we go. Just gonna have my face up here in the corner. Like so. So one tip I got from the community was it's probably good to redo the thermal compound on this 486 CPU. So I'll do that first. Full disclosure, I've smoke tested this board, meaning I put it into the Mac. I booted the Mac and just played around a little bit, but since I didn't have the adapter cable until an hour ago, I haven't actually tested that it fully works. But I know that it doesn't explode when I hook it up. But the Mac was a little bit unstable with this card installed, so we'll look into that if that's still a problem. So let's just replace the thermal compound on this CPU. So I'm not sure if this is the right way to do it. Oh, there we go. So yeah, these little clips come off. So, there we go. So, oh geez, look at this. That's dry thermal compound. I've never seen such dry compound. Oh, Brandon says it's a 6100. It will be a little bit unstable even without the card installed. First gen PowerPC Max. They were still figuring things out. I think I'm gonna, just a moment, I'm gonna flip this video. There, I think it's easier for me to, yeah, do it like so. So apologies, by the way, I had to do a little bit of setup, so I was, again, like last stream, fashionably 10 minutes late to my own stream. I recently upgraded this PC here I'm running on to Windows 11 because of peer pressure. And since I was upgrading a Japanese OEM Windows 10 to US English retail Windows 11, the installer automatically uninstalled all the applications, and just it kept all my user data, but all the applications were nuked. So yeah, I've had to reinstall everything. Brandon says, if you haven't tested the chimes of death on that machine yet, you should. It's such a spectacular sound, and for a slightly unstable machine, it's a sound you might hear too often. Do you have a suggestion how to achieve that? Maybe remove the RAM or something? A little bit of paper towel. Press Command there's this okay. It's a bit silly. OBS has added a little widget for adding emojis, and it's obstructing the chat window. There we go. Press Command Reset as soon as you power it on. Reset as in the start button, the little triangle button. That's okay. Let's do the CPU. I think I'll keep it in the socket while I do this. Cool, Command Reset. I don't think I knew about that trick. This is some stubborn, dry thermal compound. Let's try plastic tool a little bit, see if we can scrape off. Okay, that's better. There we go. Alright, that's a pretty clean 486 CPU. Intel i486 DX2. It says DX266, so yeah, it's rated for 66 megahertz. I did read, however, that the system bus will have that the Mac system bus will have it to 33 megahertz when running. I don't know if that's correct or not for this particular setup, but we'll see soon. I think the host Mac CPU runs at 60 megahertz, I believe. I have a earlier revision. I think the later 61,000 range machines had clocks at 66 megahertz for the PowerPC CPU. But yeah, anyway, I believe it's possible to clock it to the 46 to 66 megahertz as well. However, it's interesting. I'll show you in a little moment, but the way this installs into the Mac, we have the early era PowerPC CPU sitting here, and then we have this late era 486 sitting here, and they're kind of heating each other. There's this heat space going on here. You might want to get a toxic thermal compound off your fingers. I'll go wash my hands. Just a moment. How toxic is it? I wasn't aware it was actually notably toxic. And what happens if you ingest it? My dog is here again to say hi. Or maybe I shouldn't have her around toxic compounds. Very toxic, illegal to flush down the drain, can kill fish, eggs. It's toxic to animals, pets, fish, but not humans. Okay, I'll get her out of this room because I think there is some thermal compound residue around here. So I'll put her to safety. Yep. It's toxic to dogs as long as she doesn't eat it. Yeah, so she has the bad habit of licking the floor sometimes, and I think I got some compound residue on the some flakes on the floor. So I'll definitely clean the floor before I let her into this room again. Let's grab some fresh compound. I think it's over here. I'll just use this, I think. This is just some MX4 thermal compound that I've been using for everything. I don't know if this is a good choice or a bad choice or whatever. Arctic brand, which I think is reputable. Okay. I think this should be enough. It's a modern, contemporary thermal compound, also toxic in the same way? Or is it just the older stuff? It doesn't have any markings, but maybe the markings were on the warning labels were on the original packaging or something. Let's go get the. I'm just gonna brush some of the dust off this thing. All right. So heatsink goes back on the board. Looked it up. Arctic silver uses less zinc oxide than the white stuff. It says harmless for humans, except skin irritation maybe, but very toxic for fish, plankton, algae, etc. Okay, so it mustn't go into the water, the sea. Let's see if we can. Oh. I don't know if there's a trick for getting these clips back on. Probably not a big risk for dogs. My dog is a fairly small dog, so I would be a little bit concerned that if she gets even small amounts of toxic stuff into her system, that it may affect her pretty badly. I'm not good at this. Oh no. So the clips need to go underneath the CPU. Oh, yeah, maybe this is... Maybe you should be installing this heatsink when the CPU is out of its socket. Maybe that's it. Pressing down with the eraser end of a pencil on the flat parts. I don't think I have an eraser. Pencil with eraser. Maybe I can just use these. yeah, I think that kind of worked. Did mess up this pen a little bit here. Are you sure? I think it's kind of attaching to the CPU there. It's just in underneath. Okay, I think it's on there. That was obnoxious, but I think it was worth it to get some fresh thermal compound on this thing. All right. So let's put this aside for a bit and see if I can get the Mac over here. Oh, actually, I need to put the Sound Blaster daughterboard back on, I think, before I forget about it. It has a little proprietary socket thing there. It looks like the RAM card sockets on PowerBooks of the 90s. There we go. Hi Paul, thanks for joining. There we go. I should mention this this chassis here was chassis. I don't know what you call it, but this bracket was pretty badly bent when I got it. You can see there's still a little bit bent here. You can also see there's a fair amount of corrosion on the shield there. You can get it to focus. Not on my hands, please. Yeah, not great at focusing. So I did bend it back. Oh, here's also some, you see here, there's some corrosion on the aluminum. So it's, yeah, it's been exposed to the elements for sure. So I'm gonna test it first without RAM sims. So to just eliminate that as a potential factor of malfunction. So I'll use the max RAM for starters. We'll see how far we get with that. And now let me get the Mac. Here she is. All right, this is a Macintosh Performa 6116. Does not focus well. I believe we have 40 megabytes of RAM in the Mac. Yeah, apologies for my camera. It's just not good at focusing on stuff that's floating around in the middle of the scene. But yeah, it's the 6116 CD, so it has a 2-speed CD-ROM drive, which it's a very slow CD-ROM drive, but it seems to be fairly reliable so far. And on the back of the Mac, we have a hole for where the DOS card will go. We have a AAUI. It's a network, Apple's proprietary network adapter. It's just an AUI extension. You need an adapter for that. Here's a SCSI port. Here's a display port, a weird display standard that Apple had. And serial ports, ADB ports, microphone, speaker, some reset buttons, interrupt buttons, and power supply. Here's the funky video connector adapter. So it goes from this really thick, dense DSUB-like thing. I think it's called HDI. Excuse me. It's an HDI port. Apple is only using 10 or so of the pins over there for this machine. And as I understand it, they were multimedia capable, so you could, if you had a compatible monitor with built-in speakers and all, and you can get like one combined connection for everything, which was handy for the era, of course. Because if you had a multimedia PC, you may in the 90s you may have remembered spider's nest of cables. Right. So let's see if we can get a look inside. Yes, I have a Blue SCSI V2 installed right now. CD-ROM drive, floppy drive. I stole the floppy drive from another Mac because the stock one was acting up. PowerPC CPU sits right here, gets pretty hot, but it only has a heatsink. This was before it became common to put CPU fans on CPUs. And I believe this is a video RAM, if I'm not mistaken. This is the PDS slot we'll use. We have the RAM sitting over here underneath the SCSI ribbon cable. This is, I guess, 32 plus 8 megabytes, so it adds up to 40 megabytes. And here's the CD audio cable I mentioned earlier. That's supposed to serial daisy chain with the DOS card. I'm not gonna hook this up now because we probably won't get to CD audio today. Maybe later. So basically, let's hook this up. Actually, how should we do this? Let's just go for broke. Let's I tested this Mac just earlier, and I know that it still boots. It's a good Mac. So first of all, we'll try to see if the Mac still boots when we have this card installed. So I'm gonna put it on into its little slot here. It has is a little hook. This little hook here that hooks into the chassis of the computer to hold this in place, like so. So now it's installed there. There are thumb screws you put in here. The thumb screws sit over here. These two screws the card in place, but I'm not going to do that right now. So I believe this computer with the DOS card, you're going to have a monitor output display video signal from the DOS card, and you're going to have video signal from the Mac. So I'm going to be using this unholy contraption here. We have the HDI to Apple 15-pin DSUB monitor cable. Goes into this Sony branded adapter. That goes into this VGA cable that goes to this NEC monitor I have here, multi-sync NEC, which is a fairly capable monitor. Hook it together like so. Quite the adapter chain right there. So I want to start out by seeing if we can get a picture out of the Mac with all this hooked up. Let's see here. So the tricky part is, of course, how are we going to get both the video from the Mac and the video from the PC in some kind of streaming environment here. I think I'm going to try to get the PC video to the my video capture device, if it works, and show it on screen. Actually, I need to add that in a moment here. Sure. I need to add the video capture device. USB video. So this is It's not getting a signal right now, so it's looks like this. And just to get to testing the Mac, I'm gonna get my extended keyboard here and the Kensington Turbo mouse. Just operate the Mac. Let's look this up. And need some power, of course. Alright, so this is just a smoke test to see if the Mac still boots with all these hooked up. So that's a happy Mac sound. That's positive. It's fairly quiet, so I don't think you heard that very clearly. So we have a mouse pointer. It's probably hard to see in the picture there. Oops. Oh, okay, it's because I didn't. The SCSI ribbon cable wasn't inserted well enough. So, the Mac seems to be a happy Mac still, which is good. Let's fire. I'm gonna fire up the software for this, so that we can see that the card is detected. Let me see. Maybe I can just. Let me. Just gonna get another VGA cable here. Brand new. I think it's not been used. Has the little red cover still. I want to see if the video capture device works. Probably not advisable to hot plug these cables, but it usually works for me okay, knock on wood. So let's turn on the, oh, there we go, it works. So yeah, it's a little bit off. Is that because, no, it's, the video buffer is somehow not aligned perfectly, but you can see basically what's going on screen there. So I do have, there, PC setup. Oops, not properly installed. That's weird. PC is turned off. So yeah, it worked better when I did this before. Let's restart again, see if it works. I'm pretty sure that, yeah, we saw the CDEV earlier. So by the way, this is the compatibility software is right here. So basically it has a control panel, it has a bunch of control panels for PC Exchange. Well, we got Easy Open and PC Exchange. I think Easy Open is for opening foreign files, so DOS files in Mac easily. PC Exchange is for reading DOS volumes. Paul asks, just how vintage do you intend to go? Seeing the computers from the 80s, ZX Spectrum, Acorn, Commodore. Of course, well, when I get around to it, I don't have ZX Spectrums and Acorns. Those are UK-centric machines. I'd love to get my hands on some one day. I do have a Commodore 128 that I can play with one of these days. I have a bunch of Apple IIs. I have Atari 800. So yeah, I'll definitely go back to the early 80s. One of these days. Okay, so the extensions consist of the network driver, the printer spooler, PC clipboard. Cool, so there's integration with Windows there. And yeah, this software is universal for the 6100 series, which is what I have here, and also the 6300 and 630 LC or Performa or Centris Quadra 630. Yeah, thanks, Paul, for the feedback. Yeah, I'd love to go back in time. So here's the software for the DOS environment. I have installed .bat for a bunch of software, MS-Detect, CD-ROM, etc. But let's try to restart this once. See if we get the whatchamacallit, PC setup control panel will load properly this time. Oh yeah, Paul, I also have an MSX2, a Korean MSX2 that I'm be happy to show off. Haven't yet gotten the Carnivore 2 to work well with it, but I do have a GoTech installed in my MSX. And some software works. And yeah, a bunch of Macs, bunch of vintage PCs. Elisa doesn't belong to me, but I'm borrowing it. All right, let's see. So the PC setup control panel should pop up after a minute here. Mac is loading all the software drivers and stuff. There we go. Okay, so there we have the PC setup control panel. Yes, so the M6 is actually an 8-bit home micro, which was, I guess, utilized as a console as well, but the one I have is more of a desktop PC form factor with like a late era MSX2 that has 256K of RAM and fairly capable machine. All right, that's better. So cool. The PC card is now recognized. We can assign memory here. Right now we're taking 4 megs from the Mac. We can choose what kind of output we want from this thing. It doesn't really matter. We can keep it at Apple 16-inch, I guess, which means that we probably should use the yeah, we'll figure this out. I assume that the Apple output means you use one of the DSUBs on the adapter board, and VGA means you use the other one. So let's have a quick look at the adapter board here. So yeah, this is the board. It's hard perhaps to read the writing, but it says 6100 video out on this DSUB, and it says monitor on the other one. And they are both, oh, actually they're male and female. And then we have the game port is here. This is a joystick, it says. So yeah, somebody explained to me, I forgot how that works. And this is the dense thing that goes into the back of the computer there. So, again, I don't know if this is advisable, but I'm gonna try and let's see here. Hot swap again. I'm gonna hot swap the Mac display over here because I think you've seen kind of what it's all about. Just gonna remove this. There you go. I'm gonna get the max output back to the NEC, like so. So you just have a general idea what's going on over here. And I think I'm gonna turn off the Mac for this. I don't want to jiggle around with the PDS slot there and mess something up. So I'm gonna shut down the Mac when I install this adapter. So it just goes into the DSUB back here. It's fairly tight. There we go. Okay. So now the dense DSUB is connected. We have the breakout. I'm gonna get the here's okay. Let's see here. So I don't know how well this is gonna work. This is a very bland pass-through from Apple 15-pin DSUB to VGA. No settings, so I don't know if this is gonna do the right thing, but let's hook this up to, let's try monitor. Just serial connect this like so. Monitor. So it's a little bit tricky because a PC game port is just exactly the same DSUB 15 as an Apple display port. So you don't want those two to get mixed up. I think you may get 5 volts in the wrong place, which is not healthy. Alright, so the adapter is there. And I have my OSSC here, I have my capture device here. I'm going to turn on the Mac again. Mac is still chiming, that's good. Let's head over to the capture device. Well, I don't think the PC is gonna be turned on by default. We may have to go in and turn on the PC after the Mac has started up. So hopefully the PC setup control panel will still load. Isn't this exciting? Waiting for a Mac to boot. There comes the flash, okay. So yeah, the PC setup control panel is still loading, which is a good sign. Now let's go to PC setup. Hopefully, yeah, it works. That's good. Let's try VGA. See if that does it. So I'm gonna head over to the capture device. See what happens when we do start PC. Come on, PC's running. But we're not getting any sync, which could just be because our VGA adapter, as it were, is not doing the right thing. Yep, this is not doing anything. Let's shut down the PC again. Alright, so let me try. I think I have more of these adapters. Let me just try another adapter. There's one more of these Apple monitor to VGA adapters. Let's try that one instead. The adapters without dip switches are the best. Maybe. I do like this Sony I showed earlier. Has been incredibly reliable for me. You can configure it very granularly. Okay, let's try again. Switch over to the capture device. Let's start the PC. See if we can get sync. Ooh, yay! Works! Look at that! Diskette error. Well, that's really encouraging. Yeah, it works basically. It's a functioning PC. Now, I'm not sure what the next step is. I think the next step is to install, to try and boot from some OS disk. And sharing. So I'm just assuming that it will find, let's see here. Yay. Yeah, that's super cool that the PC actually works. Okay. So I'm just clicking around here on the interface. It says you can create new drives. So I'm just, yeah, it's super fuzzy. Sorry, I can't get a better shot of. I'm just doing some partitioning stuff on there in the Mac control panel. I'm just going to create a new C drive as hard disk. Let's call it DOS disk. And let's give it, I don't know, 200 megs just for starters. I'm going to initialize it. Hang drive file. Okay, very slow. Let's let it do its thing. Yes, I tried to find some manual documentation for this thing online. Couldn't really find any, but yeah, there are some readmes. We can have a look at it, I guess. But I'm just not entirely sure how you're supposed to get data from a floppy disk or CD-ROM onto the virtual drive on this system. Let's see here. I have some Microsoft software over here. Just show off what I'm gonna try. I have This is MS-DOS version 6.0 upgrade, which I'm not sure if that means you have to actually have a version of DOS on this already installed before you can use this. So these are just disk 1, 2, 3 of DOS 6.0. Yeah, sorry for the focusing. So this is Windows 3.1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so Windows 3.1. This is Windows 3.11, the best version, arguably. And then yeah, I have these are 6 install disks, and this is 3.1 for work groups, backup disks. Okay, so the PC should recognize a floppy disk when I insert it. So okay, let's see if the Mac will recognize floppy disk. So here's disk 1 of the DOS update. Oh, sorry, not super clear. Okay, so these are just autoexec.bat, setup command.com. It's a bunch of your usual DOS stuff. So maybe if I hit the restart PC here, I'm gonna switch over to capture card. Actually, let's see what happens when we press a key. No. So how does the DOS PC get keyboard input? Do I have to tell it to... Oh, switching hotkey is command return. Okay, got it. Command return. So let's go back here. Command return. There we go. All right. Starting MS-DOS. Oh, maybe I have to... I don't know if the hard drive is visible yet. I may need to restart this thing. Setup cannot install MS-DOS 6 on your computer because we don't have a hard drive. I'm so sorry. Let's exit setup. And see if we can restart the PC. Restart PC. Yes, please restart. Let's go back to okay, so let's see if we can see the hard drive now. You're not meant to see the Mac UI and the PC screen at the same time. Yeah, I guess not. The Mac screen is definitely not reacting to input. It's interesting, according to the status that the taskbar or the menu bar, the PC clipboard extension is active. Okay, yeah, so we cannot use this because we need to have DOS on the computer already. So let's see here. I don't know if these Windows installation disks are gonna have DOS on them as well. Let's try the Windows 3.1.1 installation to see if it works. So yeah, I don't remember if the later Windows actually came with DOS. I mean, Windows 3 is just the shell on top of DOS, right? So let's restart the PC. Windows 95 was the first to install without DOS. Okay. I don't know if I have. So I have my box of floppy disks here. Let me see if I can find some DOS installation disks floating around. I don't recall if I had that or not. So PowerKey, softpc.com, Alpha, Quantum, eWorld, Spaceway 2000, QuickBooks, IBM. Windows 95, this DOS card will run just fine. Yeah, I do believe Windows 95 is alright for. I don't know. I'm not sure I want to run Windows 95 on a potentially 33 megahertz DOS PC. I kind of feel like Windows 3.11 is the sweet spot. Windows 95, upgrade. Windows 98 boot disks, device driver kit for Windows, mouse drivers. What is this? IntelliPoint mouse drivers, Windows 98 2nd edition. Some stuff here. We have here just the DOS 622 upgrade. DOS 6.2 boot disk. I wonder, can we install from boot disk? Maybe we can just copy the OS onto the hard drive and call it a day. DOS 622 upgrade and then test, and then some Windows 95 install boot disks. Let's try a DOS 6.2 boot disk. Start the PC. Oops. Okay, doesn't recognize this boot disk. The CD-ROM setup boot disk will let you install DOS from a CD if you burn one. Right. Yep. Okay. macOS wasn't too happy when I manually ejected the boot disk. I don't think I should be using this IBM XT boot disk. this out. So I think what I'll do, this is it'll just take maybe 5 minutes, but I think I will just burn. Actually, I have a USB floppy drive that I can probably get DOS622 installation disks onto. It's weird that in this whole stash of floppy disks that I got, there's not a single DOS installation disk. There's millions of other installation disks, but not DOS, for whatever reason. Just check some more here. Here's Windows version 3.1, just more installation disks. There's what's called a boot disk. 25 startup. Oh, what's this? DOS622 disk 2. DOS. Oh, maybe this might be promising. DOS622 upgrade. DOS62 disk 3. All right. Let's try that. 62 disk 1. This says 62. This says 622. I assume it's the same series. I just forgot to put a 2 at the end. All right, let's try this. Hopefully these are good disks. Okay, this floppy disk does not sound healthy, unfortunately. Nope. Yeah, bummer. I think this is a bad disk. Oh, interesting. We don't even. macOS doesn't even recognize this as a floppy disk. It's one of those ones with nasty plastic covers for the magnetic surface. Okay, macOS is not happy right now. Let's shut down the PC. Oh, there. Okay. Now macOS picked up on the floppy disk. But it doesn't sound too healthy. But turning on the PC again, let's just try one more time to see if these... Oh, problem with disk 1. Yeah, no, it's not a healthy floppy disk. Use the Windows 95 boot disk. It can read the index though. Nope. Right, yeah. WinWorld PC definitely has good DOS disks. Let me gonna go grab some of my disks over here. So I know I have some empty floppy disks here that I think should be good. I'll go grab my USB floppy drive. Just 1 minute. So here's my USB floppy drive. I haven't used this yet with Windows 11. I don't know how Windows is gonna like this floppy drive. Maybe not so great. Yeah. Yeah, Windows 11 still supports floppies. I did use this floppy drive with Windows 10, but I do remember I had to jump through some hoops to get it to run, and now I updated to Windows 11 very recently. Device Manager. X1DE USB. Probably this one. So let's see. I can switch to my PC screen. Wait, do that. So I'm supposed to be sharing my PC screen now. I don't know if you can see, but let's see if I can find some drivers. Omega floppy drive X1DE USB. Is this a... It's always a little bit... Oh, actually I should probably... check on archive.org first. Oops. Nope. Oh, okay, there we go. So this is the trick. You just need to install the drive. You need to not browse your computer, but search for the drivers. No? Okay. Oh, there we go. Pick from the list. Floppy disk drivers. NEC. Can we just use this one? Nope. Oh. Sorry. Yeah, I'm sure that I was able to find it somewhere here before for Windows 10. Show, oh, right. There we go. I think this is where I wanted to get to. Yeah, there. So yeah, it's just me relearning how to do this. NEC systems, was it? Yep. NEC USB floppy. Yep. Yes. There we go. Now we should have floppy support. Then we do Windows PC. Let's get DOS622. Nope. DOS. It's DOS 622. So upgrade supplemental disk with CD support. Yes, it's handy to have the CD support one. There we go. And stop sharing this for a bit there. I need to go to find the software. Alright, so let's see if we can get these disks working. need to install 7-zip as well. Just everything got nuked when I installed Windows 11. All right. Wait a minute. Okay, so this was not the right one. What I got here was a virtual hard disk image from WinWorld, which I don't think is what I want. I want... Oh, of course, it says virtual PC VHD. So I need to pick one that's 3.5-inch floppy disks. So I suppose we just get the plus enhanced tools version. There we go. Extract. Okay, so I'm yeah. Sorry about that. So I'll just show you where I'm at. I got this software called WinImage. It's not the one that I've been using before. I couldn't find that again. But I'm just trying to figure out how to write to the floppy disk. So I have it right here. Here's a floppy disk that's inserted, so I know it's inserted. And I just need to figure out how create physical drive image, restore image on physical drive. Is it this one? Application name of physical image file to load. No, it's not that. Disk. write disk, write current image on the floppy. We do that, but it doesn't work. So I'm not sure what is the problem. Format disk. Okay. So at least we know that I can operate the floppy disk drive. Well, so far in summary, the DOS card seems to be working quite well. I guess the big questions are going to be, is the Sound Blaster card working? Can we get the network integration? Can we get everything else up and running? Get some operating system installed. This might take a moment to get the software installed, so I think I'll leave it at this, and I'll look back next time to get the software installed and take it for a spin, see how fast it is or slow it is. But yeah, I think I'll wrap it here. Thank you very much for watching. Apologies for the sort of anticlimactic end there. Fortunately, the DOS installation disks that I had on hand were not happy, and I know that I prepared DOS 622 floppy disks in the past, but I may have overwritten those with something else since. So yeah, in hindsight, I should have prepared installation disks ahead of time, and I guess I just wasn't prepared that it would be this painless to get it up and running. Oh, I guess the one thing we haven't tried is the RAM. Oh, error? Disk error. Okay. Abort. So maybe that the floppy disk is not happy, or yeah, some other problem. But yeah, I'll definitely get some software on this soon. But let's see if we can get physical RAM memory on that machine actually. So let's turn off the Mac for a bit. That's fine. We can shut down. So, oh man, it's hot. You know, as I suspected, this this 486 sitting on top of a Power PC. Oh geez, it's burning hot. It just creates an amazing, I guess it's kind of traps the heat in between these two hot CPUs without fans. So I don't know if this is the ideal setup of a computer. So let's try the big chunky. This is a very chunky RAM stick that came out of a pizza box Mac, I think, that I got at some point. I put more RAM in that, so I took this one out. So this goes in to the socket here. See if we can get it in there. There we go. There, it clicks into place. And let's put this back in here. There we go. Alright, let's turn on the computer again. So perhaps just to get to a stage, actually, so I think we should boot into maybe check it, or maybe mem test. If I can find my disks now. There it is, mem test 86. Let's boot into mem test. Turn on the Mac. Hope it still chimes. It does chime. So yeah, let's boot into mem test and see if the DOS PC has 16 megabytes of RAM or not. Still slow to boot. Alright, extensions are ticking away here. So if we get to the PC setup one. Yep, seems alright. This Mac is not fast. It was just at that cusp between the really fast 6840 based, Motorola based Macs that I think are slightly faster with Mac OS 8.1 than this one is. And then before they got, these PowerPC Macs got fast enough to justify the PowerPC. Alright, so we have the DOS disk here. So RAM cannot be selected. It's hard to see on the camera there, but it's grayed out. So I believe that means that it sees the 16 megs of RAM installed. Display is set to VGA. So let's insert. Yeah, let's restart the. Oh, the PC is actually running. Interesting. So it's so weird. It kind of starts itself sometimes and sometimes not. I'm not sure what the logic is there. Maybe if I turned off the machine while it was running or something, it comes back. So let's switch to the PC, put in mem tests, go over to the capture device, see if we can get, there we go. Alright, here's mem tests. So it will start by itself in a moment. Okay, so the it's so funny how the buffer is kind of off kilter. I don't know how I can improve that. Yeah, anyways, we can see that it says 16 megs there. Is it hanging though? Or is it just, or is the test happening outside of view? Yeah, so I need to mess a bit with the OSSC settings to see if I can get it better aligned. So I'm doing the can we do something like line 2x? Oh, actually, where are we at? Video in processing. I don't think there are any other useful presets here. So I'll have to get back to configuring the OSSC another day. So I guess the good news is that it sees the 16 megs of RAM there, but it seems to hang immediately, because I don't think that's how it's supposed to work. The Mac is still running here. I switch over to the Mac. But I'm pretty sure that the PC should respond to input. So yeah, I suspect that there is some flakiness going on in between the SIM socket and the RAM SIM. That may need to be looked at. Maybe install a new RAM socket on there, or SIM socket. Because yeah, I do think that there is some flakiness going on. Yeah, pretty much hung. Let's just restart the PC once and see if the same thing happens. Starting the PC. Oh, here's the RAM test, that's cool. 16 megs tested. Weird. No, it doesn't want to recognize the mem test disk. Let's try again. Here we go. Let's run one pass enabled. Yeah, it just crashes. I don't. Maybe the memtest 86 isn't compatible with this PC card. Anyways, so that's as far as we got today. Thanks you all for watching. I'm happy that the system mostly works. I think we're 80% there. Have a fully working PC in a Mac. I'll turn this off now. Let it cool down because it's running hot. And yeah, thanks you all for watching, and I'll be sure to do another stream another day if you want to see more. And take care.